people on the other, oops.
It's okay. Good morning, everyone. Um,
Morning.
Today is another episode of what Brian found looking through old handout files. And this time at least to me, it's an old favorite. It's the poem Hokusai Says. And uh, just to fill in, Hokusai is a Japanese artist from some centuries ago whose famous work is uh, a couple of giant waves off the coast of Japan with a mountain in the background and some boats and people rowing boats in the giant wave. And the poem is written by Roger Keyes, who um, he's passed away, was a British scholar of Asian art, as well as someone who was part of a Sangha like we are. Um, and I only can imagine, Rogers placing Hokusai as the one who is seeing everything in this poem, because certainly this is not anything that actually came from Hokusai. This is birthed from the imagination, but it is a poem just filled with Dharma lessons. So I'm going to read it through and then I'm going to go back and talk about it. Hokusai says, look carefully. He says, pay attention, notice. He says, keep looking, stay curious. He says, there is no end to seeing. He says, look forward to getting old. He says, keep changing. You just get more who you really are. He says, get stuck. Accept it. Repeat yourself as long as it's interesting. He says, keep doing what you love. He says, keep praying. He says, every one of us is a child. Every one of us is ancient. Every one of us has a body. He says, every one of us is frightened. He says, every one of us has to find a way to live with fear. He says, everything is alive. Shells, buildings, people, fish, mountains, trees. Wood is alive. Water is alive. Everything has its own life. Everything lives inside us. He says, live with the world inside you. He says, it doesn't matter if you draw or write books. It doesn't matter if you saw wood or catch fish. It doesn't matter if you sit at home and stare at the ants on your veranda or the shadows of trees and grasses in your garden. It matters that you care. It matters that you feel. It matters that you notice. It matters that life lives through you. Contentment is life living through you. Joy is life living through you. Satisfaction and strength is life living through you. Peace is life living through you. He says, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Look, feel, let life take you by the hand. Let life live through you. It's pretty magnificent work. So Roger Keyes begins by saying, Hokusai says, look carefully. He says, pay attention, notice. He says, keep looking, stay curious. He says, there is no end to seeing. Look carefully, pay attention, notice. This is our practice. This is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is not some obscure or abstract way of living. It's simply to pay attention, to notice. If you can't directly experience through your senses what's actually occurring, then what you think is occurring is not what's actually occurring. That's what we call getting lost in thought or delusion. If you want to be able to navigate the world and to be able to steer your own life, the first step is to pay attention, to know what is occurring, what's actually occurring now. If you don't know that, everything starts to go in random directions, or maybe not so random, and habitual formed directions. To be able to watch what's actually occurring, including the response from within, the habits that arise in relationship to what's occurring. If you're not noticing them arise, you don't get to choose. You don't get to choose, am I going to respond to what's occurring right now habitually, or am I going to respond with a fresh view, with an accurate view? And then Roger says, keep looking, stay curious. There is no end to seeing. It reminded me of Analaya's statement of reducing the Satipatthana Sutta, the Sutta on mindfulness, to 4 words: keep calmly knowing change. This is what Roger Keyes is also saying, keep looking, stay curious. There is no end to seeing. Well, there sort of is an end to seeing in this body, and it's getting old and dying. So Roger then says, look forward to getting old. Keep changing. This is what happens as you get old. You keep changing, and you just get more who you really are. If you don't like who you really are, getting more who you really are is quite upsetting. So Roger says, get stuck. Accept it. Repeat yourself as long as it's interesting. That is a statement so free from judgment. How much judgment do we have when we get stuck? How much do we want to get unstuck? I want to be free from, I want to be done with, I want this to be transcended, let go. What would it be like to just get stuck, accept it, and repeat yourself as long as it's interesting? He says, keep doing what you love. He says, keep praying. So, what is meant by prayer in this case? Right? It's acknowledging the interconnected nature of all soul. It's acknowledging that wherever we get stuck and whatever we love, both, are interwoven with vastness, with all life, with the flow of all life as it's been flowing since beginningless time. Praying is an acknowledgement of that. Praying is an intentional acknowledgement of that and an expression of intention. It's an asking for support, for being able to move in the direction you intend to move. A recognition that it's not all about me. That I can want to change something I identify about myself, someplace I'm stuck that I don't accept. Okay, so pray. You're praying, you're just saying to everything else, I need some support here. I know that these habits that keep re-arising and leaving me stuck are the result of the conditions I live in, the world I live in. What I see, what I hear, what I taste, what I smell, what I touch, what I think. All of those senses are relationships with something outside these bodies. So when we pray, we're saying, oh, I know this. I acknowledge this. I acknowledge that the work I am doing that seems internal is always both internal and external. simultaneously. And, oh, hello, external. How about giving me a hand? How about smoothing the path a little bit for me? Making it more possible for my practice to evolve and develop. And then the poet, Roger, goes into a whole range of language around this connectivity. He says, every one of us is a child. Every one of us is ancient. Every one of us has a body. Every one of us is frightened. He says every one of us has to find a way to live with fear. Fear does not go away. Thank God. There's our prayer. Without fear, who would warn you that something might be amiss? That you might run into something that's dangerous or unpleasant or not at all what you intended. Fear is what taps you on the shoulder and says, hey, are we okay? You need that friend. You need it in your life because it's the part that lets you know that you need to pay attention. Every one of us has to find a way to live with fear. One way is to recognize this very next line. He says that everything is alive. Everything is alive. Shells, buildings, people, fish, mountains, trees. Wood is alive. Water is alive. Everything is alive. You're not in this alone. You are never alone. You are never not being touched by life itself. Everything has its own life. Everything lives inside us. He says, the world lives in, he says, live with the world inside you. Live with the world inside you. So a very interesting aspect of this is that we only know the world through our perception, right? Our senses take in very raw information. Our hearing is just vibrating the eardrum. Our seeing is just photons bouncing on our retina. The interpretation, the naming, the understanding of what it is we're seeing or hearing takes place in our perceptual system. It takes place inside us. Our knowing the world takes place inside us. It's so critical that you know this. Because once you know this, you recognize that the person next to you might have perceptions of what's going on that's different than yours. That two people sitting next to each other, witnessing the same external event, see different, hear different, know different. Forming beliefs on the basis of an individual's unique perceptual system is dangerous, because a belief tells you that other people's perceptions are wrong. Your perception is right. The way they're doing it is the wrong way. I can see vividly, I know clearly they're making a mistake. It would be so much better if we did it the way I perceive it. All conflict is built on that. There is a connection between look carefully, pay attention, notice, keep looking, stay curious. There is no end to seeing, is all connected to live with the world inside you. What else can you know? If you don't perceive it, you don't know it. Your knowing comes from perception. All of these alive beings, shells and buildings and people and fish and mountains and trees and wood and water. Hokusai says, it doesn't matter if you draw or write books. It doesn't matter if you saw wood or catch fish. It doesn't matter if you sit at home and stare at the ants on your veranda or the shadows of the trees and grasses in your garden. It matters that you care. It matters that you feel. It matters that you notice. It matters that life lives through you. When our perception creates beliefs and we cling to and lock into those beliefs and disdain the perception of others, then we believe that it matters if you draw or write books or saw wood or catch fish or sit at home and stare. We evaluate and judge and measure. This person is doing right. This person is doing wrong. And we base that on what they're doing, on the content of what they're doing. And Hokusai is saying, what really matters is if you care, if you feel, if you notice. What matters is kindness. This is the Buddha's teaching on right intention. The intention to be kind. The intention to do no harm. That matters. That's what matters. When I get completely upset, let's say, about the government and what it does, there is a moment when I can pause and say, it's not really what they're doing that upsets me. It's that they're so cruel and not kind. It's that they do harm instead of being free of harm. If there was a government that was choosing to organize things and do things in a way that isn't how I would do it, but they were totally being kind and caring, they weren't doing any harm, I would be able to sit calmly and disagree, but I wouldn't be upset because no harm is being done and everything is being treated kindly. I can't imagine how you could get multiple people to agree on what to do. I have noticed through my life that's not an easy thing. Even the most well-meaning and aligned people disagree about what needs to be done or how to do it. It matters that you care. It matters that you feel. It matters that you notice. It matters that life lives through you. This is the greatest truth. The greatest truth is that we are simply a form of aliveness, of life. We are not this form, and we are, but that energy that creates this aliveness is aliveness itself. And as Hokusai said, everything is alive. Everything, including me, we're all alive. That's what we are, is alive. The rest is commentary. It matters that life lives through you. Contentment is life living through you. The Buddha said that his awakening occurred when he let go of all the teachings and theories and techniques that he had been taught by his very great teachers, very wonderful teachings. But when he let go of the teachings and he remembered that peace arrives through contentment. Contentment is, I don't need anything to be different than it is. There is nothing here that I need to get rid of. Everything that's occurring is just fine. And there's nothing that is not occurring that I wish was occurring. I'm content. What is occurring is just what's occurring. It's alive. It's life living through me. Contentment is life living through you. Joy is life living through you. Satisfaction and strength is life living through you. Peace is life living through you. Discontent arises from separateness. Discontent arises with the need and focus on taking care of the self. What can you do? You have to take care of yourself. So discontent arises. This too is not a problem unless you seek to reorganize life itself, to try to keep both your separateness and contentment at the same time. Can't be done. But it is what we spend our lives doing. We spend our lives trying to find happiness and contentment as a separate self. Can't be done. because everything is alive. Everything flows and changes and moves. There is no moment when you're separate. Every breath reminds us we're not separate. We can't live without the atmosphere. Imagine if you were able to notice with every single in-breath that the very air you breathe was created by life. All the oxygen in the air was created by life. It wasn't here before life. It was created by life. The air you breathe is a function of living. Life nourishes you with every breath. Don't try to be separate. Except, of course, you have no choice. Just keep reminding yourself. Keep looking. Stay curious. There is no end to seeing. Contentment is life living through you. Joy is life living through you. Satisfaction and strength is life living through you. Peace is life living through you. Hokusai says, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Look, feel, let life take you by the hand. Let life live through you. So let's sit and reflect on these teachings.